Hi everyone, Obara here. Today I tried Chrono but I have no experience in playing any deck builder, roguelike games before, like Slay the Spire, Monster Train, Balatro, or any of those titles in that genre. But first, you might ask me, what made me want to try this game? There were two reasons. So, naturally, I went ahead and checked out a game in Steam, and oh my lord, a priestess that looks like an admiral who is wielding what seems to be a bat with a cross. Yeah, she can definitely beat me up with the power of God in anime by her side. Anyway, before I proceed, there will be some spoilers here and there, but worry not, it's only from someone who has a few hours in the game as of recording this. Also, this is by no means a review of the game, but more of a, I just wanted to tell people how my experience went with this game. At first, Chrono immediately narrates a story as soon as you launch the game. Apparently, according to the intro video, without any reason at all, everything came to life to attack humanity, and suddenly, humanity was so advanced this time around that they managed to work on a huge project building an ark, kinda like Noah. But this time it's more like innovative. Pretty much they took a piece of land and made it float away from whatever horrors that were left down there. And of course, there was a catch in this project. It was not the safe haven that they have hoped for, but rather just a cage that would imprison them. And they somehow discovered that activating the clock tower will restore the world. If this clock tower was in that land that they took, why didn't they just activate it instead of having this whole arc project going? Well, enough of that. We start the game off as an unsaturated little girl waking up in a forest. We then see the saturated version of ourselves talking to other people, and our name seems to be Lucy, and by the sound of it, we are in an adventure with the so-called investigation team that was on a mission to activate the said clock tower. We then proceed to the next area, and they were all huddled up around a campfire. Everything seems to be going well, so let's go on our merry way. Just kidding, everyone's dead. Then, this mysterious figure was in front of us. He was probably the one who killed everyone. So of course, what every kid would do in this situation, which is probably the most logical thing that has ever happened so far. Lucy cried, wishing for everyone to come back, not caring about the clock tower anymore, nor the mission. Then, the narrator blatantly tells us that we have the most OP power in every game ever, the so-called plot armor. After probably passing out, we woke up in a comfy bed, went outside, talked to the dude that literally just died a while ago. No problems there. He then offered us the tutorial of the game, which I happily accepted because my brain cells would need all the possible hints and tips while playing this game. And surprise, a bird is giving us the tutorial, and I'm already seeing my two reasons why. Anyway, the tutorial literally just taught us the basics. We have these purple diamonds that represents mana, and we have skill cards that uses up the said mana, healing a party member, exchanging our current cards in hand for cards in deck. There's also the overload status, where the normal cost of the card is increased because you played a certain card with the same character. This bird only said it's because I healed using this character, that's why he became overload. The next one is the swiftness cards, which is characterized by this blue diamond instead of purple, and they do not overload your characters, but they still use the same source, the purple diamonds, which is your mana. Now we proceed to the fixed abilities. Something that spits on the face of the heart of cards, or RNG bullshit.
This card is useless.
With the fixed ability slots, we can choose a character's specific skills that we can use every round without worrying about what we draw. But the catch is, we can only use one fixed ability every round, and it has increased costs than the normal skill card of the same name. Next is about action count, which we can see here on the bottom of the enemy's HP bar. Pretty much it counts down every time you play a violet cost card, and when it reaches 0, they would act even if you still haven't ended your turn. But then again, the swiftness cards prevents the enemy action count from going down. The next lesson is about healing gauge, which is this green thing in our health bar whenever we get damage. So even if our HP reaches 0 or even negative, as long as we still have this green bar or healing gauge, we're still at what the game calls death's door. It's like you're dead Unless you heal back up to positive, but will die once they get hit when they're at death's door. Another thing about the healing gauge is that the party members who still has it receives the full effect of healing skills, but has it reduced when they don't have the healing gauge anymore. They're continuing to make this more complicated, by the way. My brain will be overloaded if they add more to this. Oh, never mind, they do. Now we have pain debuffs, which pretty much acts like a damage over time debuff, sometimes with conditions like this, or sometimes just every turn. And finally, the last thing the game teaches us, the standby button, which lets the actions go forward without doing anything, aka standing by. Finally, they send us to the character selection screen. And if you didn't know by now who I was going to pick, well, I don't know, you're probably not paying attention. Luckily enough, Presso, the big titty priestess, was a healer and Miss Jane was a defender. I would sacrifice damage just to have these two in my party. The game throws us into the same forest that we were in a while ago. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever games give me a minimap, I tend to look at it more than the actual surroundings. So the first thing I actually noticed was an exclamation mark in the map. Only then have I noticed that there's this huge smoked up thorny structure. I interacted with it and it gave me an option to pick between getting 2 herbs or pills, or giving up a key for a relic pouch, which I have no idea what these all meant. All I know is that I might use that key later. So I got the stuff that has no strings attached to it. I then proceeded to my first actual fight for this game, and I'm fighting a crying hedgehog and a lamppost. I quickly took care of it and got me some loot from it. The game prompted me that I could now upgrade my characters with the soul stones I just got. I decided to level up Miss Jane, and we get to choose which skill card to add to our deck next. Anyway, I'll skip some of the battles and items I found since they're not really that important. So I got to the area where the boss of the stage was. I did not proceed at first because I wanted to check out if there was more to the stage. And I was correct twice in fact, since I found this church-like building that has a treasure chest as an icon on the minimap. Went in and there was a chest inside. Now I don't regret choosing the option that I did a while ago, since this chest gave us our first equipment. It was a choice between a dagger and a ring. I looked at the stats a bit and was turned off by the minus 10% accuracy of the ring. And if you've played Pokemon before, even a 5% miss rate would feel like a 50-50. So I didn't really want to risk it. I went back to the fight of the boss of the stage and oh my god, it's a cute 3-headed doggy. I proceeded to pet him with Miss Jane's chainsaw and Pressel's staff bat thingy. After beating the overgrown dog, we got ourselves some fine loot. And remember the Berserker's ring that I skipped a while ago? Seems like it really wanted to come with us. We proceeded to the next area and I was ready for some action. Then, the game just told us that it was a campfire area where we can heal and just chill. In the campfire areas, you can give your allies gifts to increase your friendship with them and unlock some cutscenes or dialogues with them. Of course, we gave our first gift, a carton of milk, to Presso while making subtle hints at her massive, and she instantly gave our gift to her, to the Lord. What the fuck, Presso? We instantly leveled up our friendship with Presso and got our cutscene with her. I'm gonna spare you the details, but they just talked about the Lord and Savior and how she will purify all the evils in the world. Something else about campfires. At certain points in your run, you can recruit more characters to your party until you get 4. I recruited Ironheart because I thought in the beginning that Miss Jane was an attacker and I needed a defender now for balance. Yeah, that was my bad. We proceeded to the next area and it was the same woods. We head in for a fight and I noticed one of the skill cards is glitched out. At this point, with how poor the game was running on my PC, I just thought that it was on my end and wasn't part of the game. And when I hovered over it, yeah, this is part of the game. Clicking on it showed the console screen that says that there was a corrupted data that was quickly recovered. Okay, that was weird. We were sent back to the fight and things proceeded normally. After a bit of walking, I was faced with another choice. Pay 400 or attempt a trial. And like my decision before, I ain't spending any of my currency because hoarding in a roguelite. yeah, I'm a bit slow. I proceeded with the trial and oh my god, why is this guy's health just question marks? Listen, if you played enough RPG, you'll instantly know that the game not showing a boss's health bar means that you're gonna get fucked. And yes, I did in fact get my ass handed to me in a couple of turns. There it is, a scripted event of the game telling me to just give up. I forfeited, and it seems that the story still goes on even if you fail miserably like I did. This time, we find Azar in a white virtual-like room, and I'm not gonna spoil the conversation here since it kinda plays a bit heavy on the story later on. After getting out of the white room, we are back with Lucy's POV with someone calling out to wake her up, and surprise surprise, it's Azar telling us that he doesn't know our name while calling it out seconds ago. I ain't that dumb, man. Lucy somehow still remembers that she needs to go and activate the clock tower, but she doesn't know what the Ark is. Azar explained what the Ark was and we both head there ourselves. Upon reaching the Ark, Azar just drops a bombshell on Lucy, saying that she was the girl from the prophecy and she was destined to activate the clock tower. After dismissing that fact, we went back to our bedroom and slept. And in the next day, I wanted to check out some NPCs in town. Met with Larine, who's a researcher and sells us unlockable equipment and skill cards for Lucy. Went to greet Miss Jane and my 2 reasons why. Talked to Leon, which is odd that she's not one of the automatically unlocked characters since she was with the party in the beginning. And finally, probably one of the best girl that'll make me want to grind this game out, Momori, and the smugness emanating from this girl. And to address the elephant in the room, she got big titties is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we went out to try and do another run, and now the game suddenly gives us a choice whether to play baby mode or not. And of course, I said yes and picked the home mode, aka the baby mode. We went with the same duo as before, Miss Jane and Presso. Went through the first stage, fought the dog, and proceeded to the campfire. But this time around, now that I know that Miss Jane was in fact a defender, I chose Hein because of the edginess, and also Azar just pisses me off, even though I later find out that he's really good in any team. So yeah, we proceeded with Hein in the second stage, and holy shit, this guy's damage is pretty insane. We easily took out the mobs and went for the boss. This time, the boss is called the Witch, and she has this mechanic where it forces me to put a curse on my team that will either deal damage over time or have a weakened debuff, and if I don't cast it myself, it'll be automatically casted to the whole party. I dealt with this gimmick by cursing Miss Jane for both the DOT and the debuff. Presso pocketed Miss Jane all while Hein is dealing damage. It got a bit intense when the heart of the cards was not with me, and that I couldn't draw any healing cards and Presso was at death's door. Hein dealt the final blow, counting the poison that he inflicted on the witch. And we were done with the stage. We proceeded to the next stage and the scenery has changed this time. We were at a bloody park and the enemies here were all carnival themed with lots of clowns, balloons, hell, they even had the merry-go-round horse fighting us. When we arrived at the boss area, I was expecting to fight some sort of monstrous clown. But nah, we're fighting a whole ass tank. And it only reminded me of one thing, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where we literally fought a G-Wagon. And right off the bat, this tank instantly got our whole party to death's door. And I have no idea what the gimmick is with this one. It summoned a drummer boy on its side but didn't attack me. So I guess it's just that I had to finish the battle first before it starts firing again. And I was utterly confused at what just happened because aside from the initial damage the tank dealt, it really didn't do anything else. So of course, Hein just powered through the boss with his sheer strength alone. Also, beating this boss unlocks a new boss that we can face in the future runs. We entered the campfire in the next area and we can now finally recruit our last party member. I decided to go with Joey, a healer, mainly because I felt like having the safety of drawing more healing cards would benefit us more. Also, the final character that you recruit will automatically be leveled up so that it won't lag behind so much. The next area was the same park as before, and we went through the stage without any problems except for one enemy that had 440 HP along with other mob units. With one assault slash from behind, I quickly dispatched the other enemies and the bear was alone. Surprisingly, the HP was just something that deceives the player, because I did notice while rewatching the video, the animatronics had the unstable machine debuff on itself, and every time you hit it, its receiving damage increases a lot, and that's why I got to finish it on the second turn without taking so much damage in this fight. We now proceed to fight the boss of the area. And they were twins, Ruby and Sapphire. Now this boss is super annoying to deal with. They apply two types of debuffs on your team. One debuff is called the Ruby Stigma. For example, if Presil had this debuff, every time I play her cards, it will damage her for a fixed amount. The other debuff is called Sapphire Stigma, which pretty much just makes the cost of the cards of that user insanely high. But of course, the game gave us a way to counter this. Each turn, we have a free cleanse card that can dispel the debuffs that the twins would give us. But this freebie that the game gives us will only occur up until a certain amount of turn. After you exceed those number of turns, you're left to deal with the twin stigmas on your own. And this is where I would thank myself from 5 minutes ago for picking up Joey. Having an additional healer in this fight definitely helped me survive this ordeal. Miss Chain dealt the final blow and we finally beat the annoying twins. Beating the twins let us unlock a new character, Trisha. And oh boy, am I excited to make an all-girls team and complete a run. We rested the campfire again, picked our upgrades, gave our main girl Presil a gift, and carried on with our journey. The next area was different. We are now in a snowy grave and the enemies we face, of course, suits the place as well. We got ghost wolves, some nerd with a book, a headless lamp carrier, and a rather hot assassin that wants to kill me. And now, we finally face the boss of the area, the Reaper. This boss is a special type of asshole and will definitely ruin your run if RNG isn't in your favor. The Reaper puts a death sentence on the topmost card on your hand. If you use that card, it will pass the mark on the next card. After you end your turn, the Reaper will automatically cast death sentence on the user of the said card. It literally does nothing in the beginning, but here's the catch. If death sentence is cast twice on the same character, the Reaper will then do a massive AoE attack that will probably instantly put most of your team on death's door. Now, I have only figured this one out while writing this script, and you might ask me, did I complete this run? First try? Definitely not. Remember what we said in the beginning of this run? The game let us choose if we wanted baby mode or not, and I chose the baby mode. After the Reaper floored us, we quickly came back and I still have no idea about the mechanics of the Reaper in this stage. But do you know what beats mechanics? Brute force, and Hein was amazing at that. Even with both our healers dying at the last turn, we still managed to beat the Reaper. Of course, Hein did the final blow, even doing a crit just to flex. Beating the Reaper let us unlock another character, Sharon. We also unlocked some relics and equipment for the characters that were in our party. We collected the last time shade piece and proceeded to the next area. We then find ourselves standing in front of the clock tower along with our party members. Azar was also there for some reason. We placed the time shade on the pedestal and activated the clock tower. After activating the clock tower, the game shows us that we have in fact cleared it. But no. Apparently, this is not counted as a cleared run because there's actually more to it than beating the Reaper and getting the last time shade piece. Now, I'm not gonna cover the events that happens next because it plays a huge part to the entirety of the story. Again, this is not meant to be any form of review of the game, and I just wanted to narrate how it went for me because I definitely had fun with playing the game and writing the script for it. But the question is, did playing Chrono Arc made me interested in games of the same genre? Nope, but I would still continue to play this game and I do hope that they add more characters in the future. Also, the only complaint that I actually have is every time I start the game, it automatically goes into a not responding window. It's just a few minutes of delay before the game runs, but still, it gets annoying sometimes. But yeah, I really like the game. Also recently, by the time of this recording, I just unlocked Helia and Selena. So yeah, I'm gonna continue playing it even if it hurts my brain. And again, this was Salvador. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Also, fuck Azar. If you know, you know.